Have you ever felt like your life is stuck in a cycle of scarcity where hope seems like a distant luxury? If you seek to overcome personal challenges and transform your own situations of lack into opportunities for abundance, discovering the resilience and faith to move forward, this content is for you. We will explore how to apply Ruth's wisdom to transform your own scarcity challenges into opportunities through 5 practical steps. Life's wilderness can test us in unimaginable ways, leaving the U.S. stripped and adrift. For many souls seeking a greater purpose, the feeling of scarcity, whether material, emotional, or spiritual, can be paralyzing. Understanding this journey is crucial for those who long for an unshakable transformation, rediscovering inner strength and provision. In this video, we will delve into the 5 steps of the woman who transformed grief into divine inheritance, inspired by the story of Ruth. Do not expect empty promises, but rather a guide based on ancient wisdom and the human capacity to rise again. We will present the pillars of this transformation clearly and applicably, focusing on genuine value for you. My journey on this channel has always been dedicated to unveiling stories of faith and overcoming, seeking paths that strengthen our spirit and broaden our understanding of providence. Through research and reflection, we have gathered the essential lessons that shaped the journey of inspiring women like Ruth, offering insights for your own life. For this story to resonate deeply and for us to extract maximum wisdom from it, it is fundamental to understand the context Ruth was in. The transition from grief to divine inheritance did not happen by chance. It was a process built on foundations of faith and deliberate actions that opened doors to abundance, a concept we will explore next. The initial setting of Ruth's story transports us to the land of Moab, a place marked by scarcity and loss. After the death of her husband and sons, Naomi, Ruth's mother-in-law, finds herself in deep desolation, feeling that life had taken everything from her. This situation of vulnerability is the starting point for one of the most powerful accounts of loyalty and faith. Popular wisdom, passed down through generations, has already warned us about the dangers of prolonged scarcity and how it can shake hope. However, Ruth's story demonstrates that even in the darkest moments, faith in a greater plan can be the beacon guiding towards recovery and abundance. There are different interpretations of Naomi's decision to return to Judah, but the central point for us is Ruth's response. While Orpah, another daughter-in-law, returns to her family and gods, Ruth chooses to stay by Naomi's side, an act of profound devotion and a prelude to her own transformation. We can think of this decision as an act of clinging to what represents hope for us, even when the path ahead is uncertain. Just as a seed clings to fertile soil waiting for rain, Ruth clung to Naomi, trusting that there would be sustenance and a future there, even if not yet visible. Ruth's audacious choice to leave her homeland and family to follow Naomi on her journey back to Judah is the first concrete step towards her eventual abundance. It is here that the 5 steps of the woman who transformed grief into divine inheritance begin to unfold, changing the course of her life forever. The first unshakable step in Ruth's journey was her unconditional loyalty to Naomi. In a moment of despair and loss, when many would seek only their own comfort, Ruth made a radical choice. Where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God my God. Ruth 1:16. This declaration was not just an empty promise. It was a profound commitment that required the renunciation of everything Ruth knew and loved. Loyalty here manifests as a driving force, capable of overcoming cultural and personal barriers, establishing a bond that transcended adverse circumstances. The relevance of this step for us today is immense. Loyalty, when genuine and focused on higher principles like love and care, has the power to create unexpected connections and open paths that individuality would not achieve. It is an invitation to reflect on our own bonds and commitments. We can compare this loyalty to a golden thread that, when woven into a tapestry, adds brightness and strength. Ruth, by intertwining herself with Naomi's life, not only offered comfort but created a solid foundation for her own security and future, transforming an act of compassion into a catalyst for abundance. By understanding the depth of radical loyalty, we begin to glimpse how it was the foundation for the unfolding of the other steps. The trust established by Ruth prepared the ground for future opportunities to emerge, a theme we will explore in the next stage of this powerful narrative. After arriving in Bethlehem's scarcity, was still a palpable reality. To ensure sustenance for herself and Naomi, Ruth embraced the second step, diligent and humble work. She went to the fields to glean, collecting the leftovers from the harvest, arduous and often invisible work by societal standards. This attitude demonstrates profound integrity and resilience. Instead of succumbing to despair or waiting for a magical solution, Ruth chose to act with her own hands, trusting that honest effort, however modest, would bring the necessary sustenance to survive and honor her commitment to Naomi. The value of this step lies in the importance of not neglecting manual labor or seemingly insignificant tasks. Humility in performing any task with dedication and excellence is a virtue that often lays the groundwork for greater rewards. Transforming labor into a path to providence. Imagine Ruth as a tireless farmhand whose calloused hands tell the story of her perseverance. Each grain collected was an act of faith, a confirmation that even in another's field, dedication brought its fruit. This silent diligence drew attention and opened doors. Ruth's diligent work did not go unnoticed. Her exemplary conduct in the field was the link that connected her to Boaz, a man of means and kindness, paving the way for the next crucial step in her transformation journey. The third step Ruth masterfully implemented was the strategic pursuit of protection and provision, guided by Naomi's wisdom. When instructed to present herself to Boaz at an opportune moment, she followed the directions with discretion and reverence, demonstrating trust in her mother-in-law's leadership and knowledge. This action was not impulsive, but rather the result of astute consultation. Ruth, although humble in her work, displayed remarkable emotional and practical intelligence by accepting and executing the plan proposed by Naomi. She understood that to ensure a secure future, one needed to seek the guidance of those with experience and wisdom. The value of this step for us is the importance of cherishing the wisdom of the more experienced and seeking counsel when we find ourselves at crossroads. The ability to listen, learn, and apply the knowledge of others is fundamental to avoiding mistakes and accelerating our own growth and security. We can think of this action as navigating unknown waters. Naomi, the experienced captain, charted the course, and Ruth, the loyal and attentive sailor, executed the maneuvers with precision, trusting that the planned route would lead to a safe harbor. By understanding the pursuit of wisdom and protection, we realize how it ensured her immediate safety but also laid the groundwork for a future of abundance. The interaction with Boaz, mediated by this wisdom, would be the decisive turning point in her journey, and that is what we will see next. Ruth's strategic encounter with Boaz triggered the fourth step, the activation of the right of redemption, an ancient custom aimed at protecting family and property. Boaz, recognizing Ruth's virtue and lineage as the widow of an Israelite, felt compelled to fulfill his role as the closest relative, acting as her redeemer. This dynamic reveals the importance of social and divine principles that protect the vulnerable. Boaz, with his integrity and generosity, saw Ruth not merely as a foreigner in need, but as someone entitled to a dignified future, acting as an agent of restoration and abundance. The relevance of this step for us is the understanding that in communities based on values, there are mechanisms of support and protection. Actively seeking these rights and trusting in upright individuals who apply them can be the path to security and prosperity when we find ourselves in a vulnerable situation. Visualize Boaz as a guardian of a legacy, a man who honored traditions and justice. By claiming the right to redeem Ruth, he not only rescued her from scarcity but integrated her into a cycle of continuity and abundance, transforming her life definitively. Boaz's act was not just a gesture of kindness but a fulfillment of a duty that sealed Ruth's destiny, opening the doors to the final and most transformative step in her journey. This fulfillment of an ancient custom is the key to understanding how grief became divine inheritance. The culminating fourth step in Ruth's story was her integration and acceptance into the community, and consequently her inheritance. By being redeemed by Boaz, she not only found a protector, but was absorbed into the heart of Israel's family and lineage, gaining a name, a place, and crucially a promise of a future. This acceptance was not merely social, it was a recognition of her worth and her right to belong. The transformation from foreigner to an integral part of a family and a divine promise demonstrates the power of inclusion and how it can rewrite stories of marginalization and scarcity. For us, this step is a powerful reminder that abundance often manifests through connection and belonging. Being part of a community that values and supports us is an essential pillar in building a prosperous and purposeful life, especially in times of adversity. Imagine Ruth, who arrived as a stranger, now being celebrated and seen as a vital link in a new generation. Her story intertwines with that of Israel, and the mark of scarcity is replaced by the seal of abundance and continuity. Integration and acceptance were not the end of the journey, but the prelude to the materialization of divine inheritance. This complete integration paved the way for the final and transformative phase, where grief turns into an enduring legacy. Finally, we arrive at the fifth and final step, lineage as the ultimate seal of divine abundance. The union of Ruth and Boaz resulted in the birth of Obed, who became the grandfather of King David, and consequently, a direct ancestor of Jesus Christ. Grief gave way to a legacy that echoes through the ages. This royal and spiritual lineage is the personification of divine inheritance. What began with loss and scarcity culminated in a monumental contribution to salvation history and the foundation of a kingdom, demonstrating that faith and perseverance can yield unimaginable fruits. The lesson here is that abundance is not limited to the material. It is also the richness of purpose, the contribution to something greater than ourselves, and the assurance that our lives, even after loss, can have a lasting and positive impact. Think of Obed's birth as the blooming of a garden that once seemed barren. Ruth's story teaches us that the end of one cycle can be the prelude to a new, even more glorious beginning. Her life became a testament to divine faithfulness. Ruth's story is a beacon for all of us seeking to overcome scarcity and find an unshakable purpose. It shows us that the 5 steps of the woman who transformed grief into divine inheritance are not just an ancient narrative, but an applicable model for our own journey. Now, how can you apply these 5 steps in your own life? Start by cultivating radical loyalty, not only to others, but to your own values and purpose. Then, embrace diligent and humble work, trusting that your honest effort will be rewarded, even if gradually. Seek wisdom and protection from experienced and trustworthy people on your journey. Do not hesitate to ask for advice and to follow guidance that resonates with your inner truth. This pursuit is fundamental to navigating challenges and avoiding pitfalls on the path to abundance. The 4th step involves actively seeking your integration and acceptance into a community that supports and values you. Participate, contribute, and allow yourself to be part of something bigger. This connection is a powerful pillar in building a prosperous and resilient future. And finally, trust in the promise that your life has a purpose and a legacy to build through lineage and legacy. Descendants here do not need to be literal. It can be the impact you leave on the world, the lives you touch, the knowledge you share. Your contribution is your inheritance. If you seek to deepen these principles, explore resources on resilience, community, and purpose. Many spiritual and philosophical traditions offer valuable guidance. Also consider books and studies on Ruth's story, which offer even deeper insights into her faith and courage. Ruth's story is a powerful testament to how faith, loyalty, and diligence can transform a scenario of scarcity into a legacy of abundance. Her 5 steps show us that hope lies not in external circumstances, but in the internal attitude and deliberate actions we choose to take, even in the face of loss. Remember that divine inheritance is not a random gift, but a natural unfolding of a life lived with purpose and integrity. By applying these principles, you are in fact claiming the abundance that already belongs to you by right, opening paths to blessings that go beyond the material. If this message resonated with you and you long for this unshakable transformation, share this video with someone who also needs to hear this story. Your journey of overcoming and abundance begins with a single step, and today you took one by delving into this knowledge. We would love to know, which of these steps do you feel most called to implement in your life starting today? Leave your comment below, and let's build this community of faith and transformation together. Your experience can inspire many others to find their own path to divine inheritance. May Ruth's wisdom inspire your journey. Abundance is within your reach, waiting for you to claim it with faith and action. Keep seeking, keep growing, and watch your life transform into a living testament of providence.